Did you know some of us carry traces of ancient encounters in our DNA? Encounters with other human species like Neanderthals, and even more mysterious ghost hominins who walked the earth long before us. Here's something wild. If you're someone who can handle high altitudes with ease, it might be thanks to a gene passed down from a mysterious group called the Denisovans. Crazy, right? And here's a bigger question. When did we first start believing in gods or higher powers? What sparked our first attempts to explain the world through myth and spirituality? Were these early beliefs rooted in survival, celestial events, or something we've yet to uncover? How much of our past do we really know? Are we missing parts of our history, pieces of a puzzle that could change everything we thought we understood about the past? This isn't science fiction. It's our story, written in fossils, genes, and the ground beneath our feet.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to Factographica. This is the first video in a new series where we're diving deep into the evolution of human species. We'll start by exploring the early humans, who they were, how they lived, and the fascinating ways they interacted with each other. From there, we'll trace the journey of technological advancements, uncover the impact of major extinction events, and follow the evolution of religious thought through time. Along the way, we'll try to piece together the missing chapters in our history, those unsolved mysteries that still leave us wondering who we are and where we come from. So, let's get started on this incredible journey through the story of us. The earliest known members of the genus Homo appeared approximately 2.8 million years ago, marking the beginning of a lineage that would eventually lead to modern humans. Over millions of years, various hominin species appeared, adapted, and went extinct. Around 20 different species belong to the Homo Genus, and what's fascinating is that many of them lived at the same time, sometimes even in the same areas. This overlap meant they likely interacted, and as we'll see, sometimes even interbred. For example, Homo habilis and Homo rudolfensis overlapped in time, both existing roughly between 2.4 and 1.4 million years ago. Later, Homo erectus and Homo georgicus coexisted around 1.8 million years ago, potentially overlapping with the later periods of habilis and rudolfensis. Homo antecessor and Homo heidelbergensis also shared a period of existence between roughly 1.2 million and 300,000 years ago.
The picture becomes even more complex with Homo heidelbergensis, a species considered a possible ancestor to Neanderthals, Denisovans, and modern humans. These groups, along with potentially Homo naledi, overlapped significantly between roughly 400,000 and 40,000 years ago. Within the last 100,000 years, several human species, including Homo floresiensis, Homo luzonensis, Neanderthals, Denisovans, and Homo sapiens, lived at the same time interacting with each other. Genetic evidence reveals that interbreeding occurred between some of these groups, leaving a lasting impact on the DNA of modern humans.
But before delving further into the different Homo species, it is important to address some common misunderstandings about human evolution. One of the most frequent misconceptions is the idea that humans evolved from monkeys. In reality, humans and modern apes share a common ancestor that lived millions of years ago. This relationship is better understood as a family tree, where humans and chimpanzees are like cousins, sharing a common grandparent rather than a parent-child connection. Another misunderstanding is the belief that evolution is a linear progression from primitive to advanced. Evolution is more accurately described as a branching bush, with various lineages evolving in different directions. Many hominin species coexisted, and most eventually went extinct, leaving Homo sapiens as the sole surviving branch of this once diverse evolutionary tree.
The story of human evolution is populated by a diverse array of species. Imagine a family tree populated by toolmakers, globetrotters, and even tiny hobbits. These relatives, all members of the Homo genus, have each left behind unique contributions helping to shape the species we are today.
But who were they really? What did they look like? How did they live, and what secrets do their bones and tools reveal about their world?
The following descriptions provide an overview of some key Homo species. So buckle up, because we're about to embark on a 2 million-year journey through human history.
Our journey begins with Homo habilis, or handyman, the earliest known species in the Homo genus. Living around 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago, Homo habilis earned its name for being the first to craft and use stone tools. These tools, known as Oldowan tools, were simple but effective. Sharp flakes of stone used for cutting, scraping and processing meat. For the first time, we see evidence of problem-solving and manual dexterity, traits that would become hallmarks of the Homo genus. Physically, Homo habilis stood around 3.3 to 4.5 feet tall and weighed between 70 and 90 pounds. They retained some ape-like features such as long arms and a slightly stooped posture. However, their reduced teeth size and flatter faces hinted at dietary and behavioral changes, possibly including increased meat consumption and social cooperation. Around the same time, another fascinating species appeared, Homo rudolfensis. With a brain size of approximately 750 cubic centimeters, significantly larger than Homo habilis, Homo rudolfensis highlights the early diversity within the Homo genus. They stood taller, at about 5 to 5.3 feet, with a more robust build, a broad face, and large molars that suggest adaptations for a varied diet. These two species, likely coexisting in parts of Africa, showcase the branching complexity of evolution. They may have shared the landscape, competed for resources, or even influenced each other's development.
As we move further along the evolutionary timeline, we encounter Homo erectus, or upright man. This species, thriving from about 1.9 million to 110,000 years ago, represents a major leap in human evolution. Standing between 5 and 6 feet tall, with a brain size ranging from 600 to 1,100 cubic centimeters, Homo erectus was the first of our relatives to exhibit modern limb proportions, enabling efficient long-distance travel. Evidence suggests that Homo erectus was among the first species to control and use fire, providing warmth, protection, and the ability to cook food. They were the first Homo species to migrate out of Africa, spreading across Asia and Europe. Along the way, they developed more advanced tools known as Acheulean tools, including hand axes and cleavers. These tools were not only more complex, but also crafted with precision, reflecting significant cognitive advancements. Interestingly, a close relative of Homo erectus is Homo georgicus, also known as the Dmanisi hominin. This early hominin species was discovered at the Dmanisi archaeological site in Georgia. They lived approximately 1.8 million years ago, making them one of the earliest known hominins to inhabit Eurasia. Despite having a smaller brain size of about 600 cubic centimeters, they displayed relatively modern body proportions. They were relatively short, with an estimated height of around 1.5 meters. The discovery of Homo georgicus at Dmanisi provides evidence that hominins dispersed out of Africa much earlier than previously thought. The exact evolutionary relationship of Homo georgicus to other Homo species is still debated. Some scientists suggest they may be a direct ancestor of Homo erectus, while others believe they represent a separate side branch of the Homo lineage. What makes these species remarkable is their spirit of exploration. Homo erectus and Homo georgicus represent a turning point in the Homo lineage, a shift from small, localized populations to a species capable of adapting to vast and varied landscapes.
As human evolution unfolded, new Homo species emerged with advanced traits that further bridged the gap between early humans and modern Homo sapiens. Two such species are Homo antecessor and Homo heidelbergensis. Homo antecessor, living approximately 1.2 million to 800,000 years ago, is often regarded as one of the earliest European hominins. Fossils discovered in Spain reveal a species with a brain size of about 1,000 cubic centimeters and a height of 5.5 to 6 feet. They were skilled toolmakers, capable of crafting sophisticated implements to hunt and process food. Some evidence even suggests they practiced cannibalism, though whether for survival, rituals, or both remains debated. Some researchers propose that they may represent a common ancestor of both Neanderthals and modern humans, though this interpretation remains a subject of ongoing study.
Next, we meet Homo heidelbergensis, who thrived between 700,000 and 300,000 years ago. Considered a transitional species, they were robustly built, standing 5.5 to 6 feet tall, with brain sizes ranging from 1,100 to 1,300 cubic centimeters. They used complex tools and were also mastering the controlled use of fire, a groundbreaking step in human adaptation. Evidence of cooperative hunting and the construction of rudimentary shelters indicates significant social behavior and strategic thinking. Homo heidelbergensis holds a unique place in our evolutionary history. They're likely the last common ancestor of 3 distinct lineages: Neanderthals, Denisovans, and modern humans.
Our evolutionary story now takes a fascinating turn with another 2 enigmatic species, Homo naledi and Homo floresiensis, each challenging our assumptions about what it means to be human. Homo naledi, discovered in South Africa, lived approximately 335,000 to 236,000 years ago, remarkably recent for a species with such primitive traits. With a brain size ranging from just 465 to 610 cubic centimeters, Homo naledi's cognitive capabilities initially seemed limited, yet archaeological evidence suggests otherwise. Their fossils were found deep within a cave system, and some researchers propose this was a deliberate act of body deposition, possibly indicating social cooperation or even ritualistic behavior. Physically, they stood about 4.7 to 5 feet tall with a mix of modern and archaic features, such as curved fingers adapted for climbing and strong but compact builds.
Meanwhile, on the remote island of Flores in Indonesia, another astonishing species evolved: Homo floresiensis, affectionately known as the Hobbit. Living between 100,000 and 50,000 years ago, these diminutive humans stood only 3.3 feet tall and weighed about 55 to 65 pounds. Despite their small size and brain, roughly 400 cubic centimeters, Homo floresiensis displayed remarkable ingenuity. They crafted stone tools, hunted local prey, and adapted efficiently to the constraints of their environment. This phenomenon, known as insular dwarfism, highlights how isolation can shape evolution in unique ways. Together, Homo naledi and Homo floresiensis remind us that human evolution is anything but linear.
As our evolutionary timeline advances, we encounter another 2 mysterious Homo species that reveal the diversity of our ancient relatives, Homo luzonensis and the Denisovans. Discovered on the island of Luzon in the Philippines, Homo luzonensis lived around 67,000 years ago. This species was small, standing about 3 to 4 feet tall and weighing roughly 50 to 70 pounds. Its skeletal features combined primitive and modern traits. Their teeth were uniquely shaped, and their finger and toe bones were curved, suggesting they were adept climbers. These traits, along with their adaptation to an island environment, highlight how isolated populations could evolve in unique ways.
While Homo luzonensis is defined by its skeletal remains, the story of the Denisovans is primarily told through their DNA. First identified in the Denisova cave in Siberia, Denisovans lived roughly 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. Fossil evidence is scarce, limited to a few bones and teeth, but genetic studies have revealed their profound impact on modern humans. Traces of Denisovan DNA are found in modern populations, particularly among indigenous peoples in Asia, Papua New Guinea, and Australia. Intriguingly, some Denisovan genes are linked to high-altitude adaptations in modern Tibetans, showcasing their lasting legacy. Denisovans likely interbred with both Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, suggesting complex interactions between species.
As we approach the present, we encounter 2 of the most well-known species in the Homo genus, Homo neanderthalensis or Neanderthals and Homo sapiens. Homo neanderthalensis thrived in Europe and Western Asia from around 400,000 to 40,000 years ago. With a brain size averaging 1,500 cubic centimeters, larger than that of modern humans, they were highly intelligent. Neanderthals stood about 5.3 to 5.7 feet tall and were robustly built, adapting to cold climates. They were skilled hunters and toolmakers, creating sophisticated stone tools and even using plant-based adhesives to bind materials. Their cultural complexity is evident in their burial practices, personal ornaments, and possible use of symbolic art. These behaviors suggest a deep sense of community and emotional bonds. Yet, Neanderthals were more than just distant relatives, they were close kin. Genetic evidence shows they interbred with early Homo sapiens, leaving traces of their DNA in modern populations, particularly outside of Africa. These genetic contributions influence traits like immunity and even hair and skin characteristics, showcasing their lasting impact on our species.
Homo sapiens, emerging around 300,000 years ago in Africa, brought unparalleled advancements in cognition, culture, and technology. Our species developed advanced tools, mastered language, and created breathtaking art, such as the cave paintings in Europe and Asia. This creativity, paired with the ability to adapt and communicate, allowed Homo sapiens to outcompete other species and expand across the globe. Despite their differences, Homo neanderthalensis and Homo sapiens shared profound connections. Today, the echoes of Neanderthals within our DNA serve as a reminder of our intertwined lineage and shared history.